I'm Amelie and welcome once again to my channel. Today I'm going to be watching Scumbag System episode number 5, and we are right in the middle of the season. The season has 10 episodes. This one is episode number 5, and I'm actually really excited about watching this because I feel that after the OCC function was lifted, this show has definitely picked up the pace a little bit. I feel like the first episodes were definitely more like establishing the universe, establishing the characters and all of that. And after the OCC function lifted, we have gotten the introduction of more characters. We have gotten some action, some more action. So, I'm actually curious to see where this is going, especially since we are in the middle of the season. And I have no idea how much of the book this first season covers. So I assuming that at the end of the season, there has to be some pretty big event, but because, I guess that's how you should end the season, but maybe it doesn't. Maybe it just ends and that's it. I don't know. But I'm assuming that it has to be something at the end of the season. So I'm guessing that we should start working towards that something. So I don't know. I'm curious to see what that something is. And, I'm guessing this is going to be starting to be established in these episodes. I'm also curious to actually read the novel. I've been thinking that maybe after I finish this season, I'm definitely going to read the novel because I was thinking that it would probably be more interesting if I actually watched the second season having read the novel already. And somebody sent me a link that has like all of the editions from, the books and all of that. And I also know that the 7th edition from this book, at least, they are completed. Well, not completed. I think the main story part is completed, like it's all out. And then the one that it hasn't been published is a volume that contains extras. So I guess I could also read it, there if I find it somehow, which is not, if you happen to stumble upon it in the internet, you know how it is. But if not, I guess I'll read just an official translation or something. But I think somebody told me that this translation was pretty good. The one from this novel, or was it Heaven Official's Blessings? I don't know. It's late. I'm so confused. So, let's talk about the previous episodes of this one. I said previous episodes because one thing that happens with this show is that all of the episodes end in a cliffhanger that is pick up pretty much where we left off in the following episode. So what happens to me sometimes is that I actually don't remember one episode, if I look back to the first episodes, I actually don't remember when one episode or what happened in each episode, like one episode where it ended and when the other one started. So if I don't know if I can recap exactly the previous episode. Maybe I'll end up mentioning something from the episode before that. But this is what happened in the previous episode. So, the OCC function is lifted, and now Shen Yuan pretty much can do whatever he likes. And one of the first things he does is that he decides to go into confinement. He's going to essentially lock himself in a cave and meditate. I'm trying to think, they call it something particular, but I don't know here. But I think in the Untamed they call it to go into seclusion. I don't remember what they call it here. Probably something similar. I don't know. But that's where he's going to go. So he's going to just spend a couple of years there in the cave meditating and getting some more power. Before he goes, he decides to give Luo Binhe a manual that is real, because apparently the original guy, Sheng Qingqiu, he gave Luo Binhe a fake manual, which meant that Luo Binhe couldn't actually improve his cultivation. And even then, I think Shen Yuan said something like, even considering that, he was pretty good, but that definitely, he needed the real thing. So he gave him the real manual, but of course, Luo Binhe think that Shen Yuan, or rather Sheng Qingqiu, who he thinks he is, made that manual especially for him. So that's awkward. Now, that is the moment I think that maybe Luo Binhe started having some feelings for Shen Qingqiu / Shen Yuan. But it doesn't matter because Shen Yuan goes into seclusion, he goes into these caves, and already something is off. Like, he enters, and there was fresh blood, there were sword things in the wall, and all of that, so you can already suspect there was something going on. And what was going on was this guy who was there. Now, I don't remember his name. I remember, I think his name was Liu something, but I don't remember the second part of the name. Now, and this guy was apparently doing the same thing as him, like he went there to meditate, but he has suffered from something, like he has had some kind of issue or something like that. And that's where we find out that this guy and the original Shen Qingqiu had some history and they actually hated each other guts. And that in the original story, Shen Qingqiu was responsible for his death. But Shen Yuan, who is, is always getting his cogs working to see how he can maybe survive, like what can help him survive till the end of the story, he realizes that he has to make amends to this guy. So, and maybe eventually if he makes friends and he saves this guy, eventually the guy is going to do the same for him and he's going to help him. So what he does is just start being nice to this guy, which I find that this is going to be weird for this Liu guy because apparently the other Shen Qingqiu was definitely not a nice person. So he's confused, and I think, in my opinion, and for some of the comments, I think there has been some confirmation there that Shen Yuan goes a little bit overboard, and maybe this guy is going to end up, in the same way that Luo Binhe, like, Shen Yuan does too much, like he goes a little bit, like, too hard on being too nice to people, and that maybe, he ends up getting another admirer. That's what I'm trying to say. So that happens and he saves this guy. He says something about, forgetting the past and start being friends, whatever. Then that's it. Then he goes and starts meditating. He stays there for, I think, 3 years. So when he leaves, Luo Binhe is supposed to be 17. And right after he leaves, he finds out he has Ning Ning and Ming Fan who can run into him because apparently the demons are invading this sect and I think all of the other masters are gone. I don't know what happened. But now he has to go solve it. So he goes, he saves Luo Binhe. Luo Binhe is grateful, I guess, and he goes confront these demons. And we found out that the leader of the demons is a demoness, I guess, called Shahualing, I think that was her name. And, they were attacking this place, but they were, when they were talking to, Shen Yuan, they were pretending like, oh no, we came here just to see, just to have a test or something, like to see who's stronger, whatever. So they decided that there's going to be, 3 combats, that they're going to decide this thing with 3 individual combats, so 1-on-1. And the first one to fight is Shen Yuan, which he does very good, very impressive. He ended up fighting without his hands, like with his fan and his sword going, flying around. Very impressive. I'm kind of glad that this show kind of skipped the part when Shen Yuan may have had to learn his abilities, and this works more like in a video game, like, I don't know, I guess he just downloaded his abilities and they are then, his, and he can use them. So I think that makes things quicker and, it was a very impressive fight. Now, the system tells him that one of the things that have to happen and that he cannot change it is that Luo Binhe has to be one of the people to fight. And I said that I thought it was going to be Luo Binhe and the last one was going to be the Liu guy from the cave. Like, he was going to come because he sent for him. And that is, Shen Yuan told one of his disciples, go for this guy because, I guess he needed help or something. So, that's what I anticipated, but, Shen Yuan was horrified because now he had to make Luo Binhe fight, but he doesn't know how good Luo Binhe is. Like, he doesn't know his level. And these guys are huge, these demon guys. So, I don't know, that's where we left off. Just with Shen Yuan's horrified face at the thought of having to make Luo Binhe fight, or otherwise I guess it's one of the plot points that they have to happen. I think something like that, or something that was going to happen if he didn't let him fight. Okay, so let's go to episode number 5. I feel like I'm talking of this is everything that happened in the previous episode. So let's go to episode number 5 right now.